You've been taught to work hard. You've been told to pray more. You've been trained to visualize, to journal, to repeat affirmations in the daylight. But I am telling you now, the most powerful hour of your spiritual authority is not during your busy waking mind. It is in the final few minutes before you sleep. What you speak in that sacred window becomes the blueprint of your next reality, and most people squander it. They think the day is where the law works hardest, but I tell you the truth. It is the night that builds your world. The hours after your eyes close are not hours of silence. They are the hours of spiritual construction. Your word is not echoing into emptiness. It is being received, processed, and fulfilled in a realm that never sleeps. While your conscious self lies still, your subconscious awakens to receive instructions. And it is not an editor. It is not a critic. It is not a doubter. It does not resist you. It does not reason. It does not care about your mood, your energy, or your sincerity. It obeys. It records. It initiates creation. And it creates whatever you last spoke, lawfully, rhythmically, and without emotion. This is why so many people wake up into the same sorrow, the same anxiety, the same sense of delay. They fell asleep rehearsing their fear. They whispered, "What if it never works? What if I'm still stuck tomorrow? What if the money doesn't come?" They called it venting, but the law called it a command. You see, you cannot trick the subconscious. It does not respond to excuses. It responds to rhythm. It does not honor your hopes. It honors your words. The invisible does not obey intention. It obeys vibration. And your final spoken vibration, just before you release into sleep, is the single most fertile moment of the entire day. That is the moment where the conscious mind surrenders, and the subconscious mind stands open, like a divine field, ready to be sown with truth or tainted by fear. You choose. You always choose. And most have chosen carelessly, unconsciously, or in emotional collapse. But if you are hearing this, your season of careless planting is over. I speak now to the one who is ready to become deliberate, the one who is done with spiritual trial and error, the one who is ready to activate law through rhythm, not emotion, the one who is done speaking power in the morning only to cancel it in the dark, the one who understands that you don't get what you wish for in this world. You get what you command. And your command is clearest, purest, and most effective when it bypasses your fear and slips directly into the soil of your inner being. That is the gift of night. That is the portal most ignore. And that is where your spiritual turnaround begins. Not when you work harder, not when you feel worthy, but when you speak lawfully and consistently to your subconscious before you sleep. Let me say this plainly. You are not waiting for the law to favor you. The law is waiting for you to speak with alignment. It is already listening. It is always recording. It never takes a break. But it does not create based on your goals or your effort. It creates based on your instructions. And the one who speaks with finality, with rhythm, with conviction in the silence of night, that one moves mountains. That one rearranges circumstance. That one opens gates in the invisible. That one commands results, not through noise or passion, but through sacred repetition. There is a divine principle buried deep in the teachings of Scripture and fully alive in spiritual law. The final word becomes the first result. Whatever is spoken last into the silence of night is what your subconscious accepts as law. That's why the tongue is called a sword, and why the prophet was told to write the vision and make it plain. Not because God needs your clarity, but because your subconscious does. It is not evaluating your worthiness. It is executing your pattern. And your pattern is set by your final spoken decree. So tell me, what has your decree been? Have you been pleading? Have you been bargaining? Have you been venting your doubts to the darkness, thinking no one hears? Then your results are not a punishment, they are a reflection. The subconscious is not personal, it is exact. It gives you what you speak, nothing more, nothing less. It is not your friend or your enemy, it is your servant. And most people have trained it to serve fear without knowing it. They whisper self-doubt, they murmur confusion, they fall asleep with stories of lack on their tongue. And then they call it fate. But there is no fate in this law. There is only rhythm, there is only speech, there is only spiritual alignment. Tonight and every night forward, you will no longer waste this hour. You will no longer wander into unconscious sleep. You will no longer let your subconscious default to fear's programming. You will take the throne of your inner world and speak truth into the night like a commander giving instruction to their army. Because that's what your subconscious is, an army of unseen workers ready to execute your latest decree. They do not question, they do not pause, they do not delay, they march and they build and they obey, but they are deaf unless you speak. And if you speak contradiction, they scatter in confusion. This is the hour to become lawful. This is the hour to become clean in speech. This is the hour to close every night with a decree so clear, so exact, and so consistent that the law itself recognizes you as one who knows how to speak into power. You do not need to scream, you do not need to force, you need only to be deliberate. Because deliberate speech is spiritual force. And the night is the most sacred altar on which to place your spoken offering. Not emotion, not desperation, not overthinking, just the word, lawful, rhythmic, repeated in faith. I will show you exactly what to say. Not poetic affirmations, not emotional pleas, but divine declarations, each one shaped to instruct, not impress. Each one timed to sync with the spiritual cycle of subconscious awakening. Each one issued at the gate of sleep, where the veil is thinnest and the soil most fertile. But first you must understand, this is not about your personality. This is about your protocol. The law doesn't obey charm, it obeys structure, it obeys rhythm, it obeys truth spoken aloud in alignment with divine order. And if your words match that frequency, nothing can stop their manifestation. The night is not rest, it is release. It is not stillness, it is spiritual software installation. It is not empty, it is sacred. And what you speak as the last breath of your day becomes the first building block of your new reality. This is the divine law of the night decree, and it cannot be broken, only ignored. The law does not change based on your belief in it, but your life will change the moment you obey it. So tonight, you will not enter sleep casually. You will enter like one approaching the inner court. You will approach it as a spiritual architect. You will approach it as one who carries instruction from divine mind and speaks it boldly into the invisible realm. You will speak with no apology. You will speak with no negotiation. You will speak with rhythm and with finality. And the law will respond. Because the law does not fail. The word does not return void. And the night does not forget what you plant in its silence. The subconscious does not argue. It does not reason. It does not negotiate. It only receives and obeys the loudest, clearest, and most consistent instruction. And by loud, I do not mean volume, I mean frequency. I mean the words that echo the most in your spirit. The statements you repeat, Not once, not occasionally, but rhythmically, night after night. Those are the commands that shape your life. And if you will accept this law, everything about your current condition can be rewritten. Understand me clearly. There is no punishment in your life, only programming. There is no chaos without command. There is no lack without instruction. And the subconscious mind, which governs 95% of your behavior, your reactions, your atmosphere, your automatic choices, it is not being random. It is being loyal. Loyal to the last clear order it received. And for most people, that order is fear. You may think you're speaking truth in the morning, but if you cancel it in the night, the law obeys the last instruction. The subconscious receives your bedtime words like sealed documents, binding, lawful, spiritually notarized. It does not know whether you were tired. It does not care if you were discouraged. It only knows this: you said it. And what you say at night becomes the scaffolding of your next day. This is why no amount of daytime hustle can override an unconscious nightly collapse. Because night is the gate, and the one who does not guard that gate loses by default. The subconscious is the builder, but it does not choose the blueprint. You do, and you choose it with your repetition. That is why I do not ask you to feel better. I ask you to speak better. Because feelings rise and fall, but the word, when spoken rhythmically, programs the field. What you say rhythmically becomes law to your inner world. And the inner world always reflects outward. You are not surrounded by circumstance. You are surrounded by repetition. You are not trapped in bad luck. You are trapped in untrained language. And most of that language leaks out unconsciously in the final moments before sleep, when your conscious guard is lowered and your subconscious stands wide open, like a servant waiting for its final orders. You say, I'm tired of this. You say, I don't know what to do. You say, I just want to give up. And you think those words are just expressions of your exhaustion. But to the law, they are orders. You must stop calling your own tongue harmless. You must stop labeling your patterns as personality. You must stop accepting your results as fate. It is none of those things. It is rhythm. It is obedience to repetition. It is the execution of your last decree. The law does not sleep, but it honors what you say as you prepare to. You see, the conscious mind makes decisions, but the subconscious makes results. The conscious mind thinks, the subconscious creates, and only one of them governs your tomorrow. So if your daytime thinking contradicts your nighttime speaking, the law will honor what you spoke last. This is why many spiritual people are tired, because they speak like masters when the sun is up, but speak like victims when the lights go out. Let me give you this clarity. Night is not a neutral hour. It is not passive. It is not emotional. It is not resting from creation. It is the hour of agreement. It is the hour when your body surrenders and your mind no longer debates. And whatever you speak in that hour, your subconscious receives as truth. Not because it is noble, not because it is poetic, but because it is rhythmically spoken when the gate is open. The subconscious cannot differentiate between sarcasm and sincerity. It does not detect self-doubt versus humor. It does not know if you meant it when you said you're tired of trying. It only hears the rhythm, the emotional signature, the repetition. And if the repetition matches the vibration of fear, it fulfills fear. If the repetition matches the vibration of law, it fulfills law. So let me ask you directly, what is your nightly rhythm? Do you fall asleep with your phone in your hand, scrolling through other people's noise? Do you drift off rehearsing what didn't work, what hasn't come, what's still missing? Do you repeat the same old internal stories about delay, about scarcity, about confusion, so softly you think the universe won't notice? It notices, it records, it obeys. Law has no memory of your silence, but it has perfect memory of your last command. And if you've been speaking contradiction, you will live contradiction. If you have been rehearsing doubt, you will harvest delay. If you have been canceling your own declarations with nightly worry, you will not see results, because law is not partial to your good intentions. It is obedient to your frequency. But here is your miracle. The moment you speak with spiritual alignment consistently, lawfully, rhythmically, the moment you treat the hour before sleep as sacred command time, the entire machinery of the invisible begins to rearrange itself in your favor. The moment you choose to replace your time murmurings with deliberate spiritual decree, the subconscious begins to override your old instructions. And it does not take years. It takes rhythm. It takes repetition. It takes the same 7 nights you would have spent worrying, used now for authority. I am not asking you to recite affirmations. I am asking you to issue instruction. I am not asking you to feel it. I am asking you to command it, regardless of how you feel. Because the law does not respond to emotion, it responds to decree. And the subconscious does not measure how inspired you are, it measures how consistent you are. Do you understand the freedom in this? You don't have to wait to be in the mood. You don't have to wait for motivation. You don't have to wait to believe fully. You only have to repeat lawfully. You only have to commit to rhythm. And the subconscious will begin to shape itself to your new instruction, not because you tried harder, but because you finally spoke like a master of vibration. The old programming may resist at first. That is normal. That is mechanical. It is the echo of your past instructions trying to maintain control. But echoes fade. Patterns break. And truth repeated with authority overrides every contradiction. You don't have to fight your old self. You only have to speak your new one. Every night, clearly, repeatedly, without hesitation. And if you do this, if you obey this protocol, you will see the results. Not gradually, not someday, but immediately. In your tone, in your inner atmosphere, in your outer field. Because your world is not a reflection of what you feel. It is a reflection of what you say with rhythm. The night does not belong to your feelings. It belongs to your frequency. And when that frequency is lawful, spoken, and consistent, your subconscious becomes your ally, your servant, your silent architect. It will shape your days. It will align your steps. It will deliver your good automatically, effortlessly, and unfailingly. Now, the only question that remains is this: are you ready to give your subconscious something new to obey? Now that you understand the sacred mechanism of the night, the absolute obedience of the subconscious, and the spiritual law of repetition, you are ready to receive the first 3 declarations. These are not affirmations. They are not poetic mantras. They are spoken laws, crafted not to soothe your emotion, but to instruct the field. They are spiritual architecture. And when spoken aloud, rhythmically and consistently, they rewrite your subconscious identity with the force of divine law. Let me say this clearly. Your subconscious is not evil. It is not broken. It is not stubborn. It is simply faithful to the last speaker. And if the last voice it hears is doubt, then doubt it will fulfill. But if the last voice it hears is decree, spoken with authority, sealed in rhythm, aligned with truth, then it must obey. These declarations are your authority. They are not suggestions. They are not wishful thoughts. They are the voice of one who knows their inheritance and will not bargain with delay any longer. Declaration 1. I sleep knowing all that is mine by divine right now rushes to meet me. You are not hoping, you are not striving, you are not begging, you are commanding, you are issuing a lawful statement of identity and alignment. You are saying clearly to the subconscious, I am no longer waiting, I am no longer doubting, I am no longer blocked. You are not chasing what already belongs to you. You are not negotiating with what is ordained. You are not peeking over the fence of possibility, wondering if your good will ever find you. You are summoning it with rhythm. You are declaring that movement is already in progress, not because of your effort, but because of your word. Speak it aloud as you lie down. Let it land. Let the vibration settle in your chest. Speak it slowly, rhythmically, confidently. And as you do, imagine the entire machinery of divine law realigning to bring your inheritance into view. This is not visualization. This is recognition. This is you reclaiming what was never lost, only delayed by contradiction. When you say, all that is mine by divine right now rushes to meet me, you cancel delay at the root. You override doubt. You deactivate the vibration of effort. You declare that the field is active on your behalf and that you are no longer waiting but receiving. And the subconscious does not argue. It aligns. It begins to shift your inner posture from one who hopes to one who holds, from one who chases to one who receives, from one who pleads to one who presides. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to speak with clarity. The law arranges the rest. And this first declaration, spoken nightly, spoken as the final command, sends a signal to the invisible realm that your faith is no longer theoretical, it is operational. Declaration 2. I am the vessel of infinite supply. I do not seek, I allow. This declaration is about identity. Not what you want, but who you are. Most people speak from the posture of lack. I need, I want, I hope it comes soon. But need is not a lawful vibration. Hope is not an instruction, and the subconscious does not obey desire, it obeys structure. So you must change the structure of your identity. When you say, I am the vessel of infinite supply, you are not describing a goal. You are declaring a spiritual position. You are announcing to the field that you are no longer a small container trying to receive. You are a channel through which divine substance flows effortlessly. You are not waiting to be filled. You are the open gate. You are the channel. You are the point of release for divine abundance. You do not compete. You do not grasp. You do not prove. You allow. This single statement, I do not seek, I allow, will deactivate every false idea of striving you have inherited. It will dissolve the inner compulsion to hustle, to chase, to earn your place at the table. The law does not respond to pressure. It responds to permission. And when you speak this law nightly, your subconscious begins to organize your entire experience around the principle of flow. Hear me clearly. You are not making money happen. You are not willing miracles into existence. You are allowing what already belongs to you to pass through. Your declaration is the signal. Your rhythm is the mechanism. Your subconscious is the field, and your identity is the vessel. If you say it and keep saying it, your subconscious will begin to embody it, not with effort, with alignment. Repeat this declaration aloud. Say it with no apology. Say it with your shoulders relaxed and your voice steady. Say it as the one who is done seeking and has begun allowing. And as you do, you will begin to feel the old panic dissolve. You will feel the grip of delay loosen. You will feel the weight of striving replaced by the ease of divine motion. You are the vessel, you are the gateway, you are the passage through which spiritual wealth becomes visible. And the law will treat you accordingly. Declaration 3. My dreams are soaked in truth. My subconscious accepts only divine instruction. This is the shield. This is the purifier. This is the firewall between your spirit and every fear-based signal you've ever absorbed. When you speak this declaration, you are sealing the gate. You are locking the door. You are instructing the subconscious to reject every old pattern, every unworthy suggestion, every fear-based inheritance that does not match divine intelligence. Let me make this plain. Your dreams are not random. Your sleep is not passive. Your night hours are not just rest, they are exposure. And if you do not guard your gate with spoken law, your subconscious will continue playing the old tapes. Fear, confusion, delay, doubt, shame, regret. These tapes do not play because they are true. They play because they were never overwritten. But now with this declaration, you overwrite them. You do not argue with the old pattern, you outnumber it. You saturate your dreamscape with truth. You declare to the deepest part of your being, only divine instruction is allowed here. Not guilt, not fear, not confusion, only truth. Your subconscious obeys, and your sleep becomes sanctified. Your dreams become visions. Your rest becomes productive. You no longer wake up in emotional static. You no longer carry the residue of unconscious programming. You wake up aligned because you slept under the authority of truth. Repeat this declaration each night as you prepare to sleep. Speak it like a command to your inner world. Say it rhythmically, like a builder tapping a cornerstone into place. Speak it until your entire being understands. No other voice, no other vibration, no other suggestion is welcome in your field. Only truth, only divine instruction, only the higher law. When you speak all three of these declarations, aloud, rhythmically, without apology, your entire atmosphere begins to shift. These are not magic words, they are spiritual protocols. And when you obey them, the law cannot fail you. The night becomes your sanctuary, your subconscious becomes your partner, and your reality begins to mirror your decree. Say them aloud, every night, for 7 nights. Then keep saying them, keep building, keep aligning. Because once the subconscious is trained, it no longer needs permission, it begins to create automatically. And when your automatic patterns are aligned with divine law, miracles are no longer rare. They are rhythm. If the first 3 declarations seal your identity as one who receives, these next 3 establish your field as one that cannot be shaken. They are not for getting more. They are for establishing divine environment. These are the declarations that stabilize timing, fortify your spiritual perimeter, and organize your world into divine harmony. Without these, your good may come, but chaos will steal it. Fear will interrupt it. Delay will mock it. But when these are spoken, the gates are locked, the rhythm is set, and the entire terrain of your life begins to obey divine intelligence without interruption. Declaration 4. Divine timing is at work in every detail. Nothing can be delayed from me. Delay is a lie, and yet most people live in rhythm with it. They speak delay. They expect delay. They resent time as if it is their enemy, when in fact, time is not the cause of their frustration, it is the mirror. The delay they feel is not on the calendar. It is in the contradiction between what they say and what they expect. And the subconscious, loyal and exact, delays what has not been spoken in rhythm. But when you say, divine timing is at work in every detail, You align your nervous system with perfect trust. You override the subconscious belief that good things are always out of reach. You deactivate the inherited panic that tells you you're behind. And you allow law to bring things not when your mind demands, but when the rhythm of alignment guarantees their success. This is not passivity. This is the highest form of command. You are not surrendering to delay. You are declaring that nothing can be delayed from you, because what is yours by divine right arrives with perfect precision. Never early, never late, never confused. And your job is not to calculate, but to declare. Your subconscious does not control the clock. It controls the atmosphere. And when the atmosphere is aligned, time bends to favor you. Speak this aloud. Say it slowly, with rhythm. Divine timing is at work in every detail. Nothing can be delayed from me. And know this, as you say it, your subconscious receives the vibration as truth and begins dissolving every internal barrier that was previously holding back your good. From this moment on, you no longer rush. You no longer compare your pace to anyone else. You walk in divine timing. You move in sacred order. You speak as one who knows. Delay is over, because contradiction is over. Declaration 5. I am shielded by truth. No fear can enter my rest. The moment you begin to align with divine law, fear will try to return, not because it is powerful, but because it is familiar. And unless you speak spiritual protection, your subconscious will invite fear back as a familiar friend, not a trespasser. This declaration is the gate. It is the shield. It is the final word that instructs the subconscious. I am no longer available for fear in the night. Do you know how many miracles are blocked by nighttime fear? Do you know how many breakthroughs are canceled by silent doubt whispered just before sleep? You don't need a sword. You need a seal. And this is that seal. I am shielded by truth. No fear can enter my rest. Say it aloud. Say it like you mean it. Say it until the entire field hears you. Because the law responds to command, not volume, not emotion, not anxiety, but spoken, clear, rhythmic instruction. Your subconscious hears this and responds immediately. It begins to reject the static. It dissolves the energetic residue of every fear-based imprint. It seals your rest. It guards your dreamscape, and it ensures that no subconscious echo from your past can interfere with the fertile ground of your sleep. Let me say this clearly. You were never meant to fall asleep wondering if something bad might happen. You were never designed to carry spiritual anxiety into the invisible. That is not protection. That is programming, and it must be replaced. You don't need to feel safe to be safe. You need to declare that safety is your law. You need to instruct your inner being. Only truth dwells here. Only law governs here. Only peace remains here. When this is spoken night after night, fear has no permission. The field becomes impenetrable, and rest becomes your weapon, not your weakness. Declaration 6. I lie down in spiritual order. Everything is being placed perfectly while I sleep. This is the declaration of the divine mechanic, the architect who does not micromanage but commands. It is the voice of one who no longer believes in chaos, who no longer organizes their life through effort, who no longer believes results come from worry. This declaration announces to the subconscious, I am no longer the one who fixes, I am the one who aligns. You say, I lie down in spiritual order, not emotional order, not mental calculation, not physical control, spiritual order. That is the order that governs all things. It is the original code, it is the divine sequence. And when you speak this, you instruct the law to begin placing people, opportunities, answers, and resources exactly where they need to be, not through your hustle, but through your word. Most people never speak order. They speak confusion, they speak complaint, they speak disappointment, and then wonder why their circumstances remain scrambled. But the law is faithful. If you do not declare order, it will maintain your last vibration, which for many is worry. But now, you reset that sequence. You issue the command, everything is being placed perfectly while I sleep. That means you stop checking. That means you stop doubting. That means you stop obsessing over the how. Because spiritual order is not yours to manipulate, it is yours to declare. Your subconscious hears this and gets to work. It begins rerouting the traffic of your life. It reorganizes your internal architecture. It aligns your calendar, your relationships, your desires, your steps, not according to chance, but according to the spoken instruction. This is not random. This is not luck. This is spiritual architecture in motion, activated by declaration, enforced by rhythm, and fulfilled by law. Say it every night. Speak it like a builder. Let the words feel heavy with authority. You do not need to know where the pieces are going. You only need to declare that every one of them is being placed perfectly, and the law will take your word as blueprint. These three declarations, timing, protection, and order, create the spiritual environment where every other command can manifest safely. Without these, your seed may be pure, but the soil is unstable. But once these are spoken consistently, your entire inner field becomes obedient. The atmosphere clears, the law obeys, and the foundation for divine result is now unshakable. You are now ready for the final trio. Now you arrive at the final threshold. These are not softer declarations. These are not gentle reminders. These are activations designed to finalize your command, seal your identity, and guarantee that what was spoken must now return. Without these three, your prior declarations may remain in potential. But when these are added, the cycle is complete. The gate is shut, the field is sealed, and the law is bound to perform what your word has authorized. These final three declarations speak directly to your vision, your trust in invisible activity, and your unwavering expectation of visible result. They are the declarations of one who no longer lives in hope, but in demonstration. Declaration 7. I see clearly in my spirit what belongs to me. I release all confusion. Vision is not fantasy. Vision is not imagination. Vision is recognition. It is the ability to perceive spiritually what already exists legally in the divine realm. But most people cannot receive what belongs to them, not because it isn't there, but because they are still clouded by confusion. And confusion is not neutral. It is a spiritual fog that paralyzes the subconscious and suspends your ability to command. This declaration ends that fog. When you say, I see clearly in my spirit what belongs to me, you are declaring to your subconscious, I no longer entertain doubt. I no longer need external confirmation. I no longer guess. You are speaking from the posture of spiritual sight. And when the subconscious hears this, it stops running loops of uncertainty. It stops asking questions you already answered in spirit. It begins to move decisively toward what you've seen. This is not about knowing how. This is about knowing what. Your vision does not need proof. It needs clarity. And when clarity is declared, the field obeys. The second half of the decree, I release all confusion, is not a request. It is a severing. It is you cutting ties with every old thought that told you, maybe you're wrong. It is you rejecting inherited patterns of mental hesitation. It is you refusing to entertain vibrations that do not match the truth of divine supply. You must speak this each night, not because you are confused, but because clarity is a discipline. You must announce to the invisible, I see clearly, I know what is mine, and I do not doubt the voice of truth within me. And when you say it rhythmically, your subconscious receives the image as final. The law does not deliver to guesswork. It delivers to vision. Declare it, seal it, and the picture will become form. Declaration 8. Even while I sleep, divine law works on my behalf. This is the most powerful shift in authority you will ever claim. Most people believe things happen only when they are awake, when they are trying, solving, praying, or worrying. But your greatest work is not effort, it is spiritual permission. And this declaration activates the highest truth, that the law does not rest, that divine machinery continues its operation the moment your resistance stops. You say, even while I sleep. Why? Because the subconscious does not sleep, and neither does law. While the conscious mind steps back, the mechanism of demonstration steps forward. The subconscious takes your final spoken command and begins executing without debate, without resistance, without pause. You do not need to micromanage it. You do not need to fix what law is already perfecting. You do not need to stress over timing, order, or steps. You only need to speak and rest. The divine takes your declaration as blueprint, and the invisible begins aligning all things in your favor, precisely and silently while you sleep. Speak this each night. Say it aloud. Say it like a legal handoff. Even while I sleep, divine law works on my behalf. And then close your eyes without fear, because this declaration ends the myth that rest equals delay. In truth, rest is the platform upon which divine fulfillment moves without resistance. Let it work. Trust the handoff, and know deeply that as you sleep, something greater than effort is already building what you've commanded. Declaration 9. I wake to evidence, I sleep in faith, my word does not return void. This is the final seal, the covenant clause, the lawful return. You no longer speak for encouragement, you speak for evidence, and you no longer tolerate empty repetition. You now command return, not symbolically, not vaguely, but visibly. This declaration announces to your subconscious, to your field, and to law itself, every word I speak is a command. Every decree I issue must return with proof. You are no longer in training, you are in enforcement. And your reality must reflect what you have planted. The first phrase, I wake to evidence, is not a metaphor. It is your demand for the physical mirror of your invisible work. It is your refusal to remain in unseen potential. And your subconscious, when instructed nightly, will begin rearranging your environment to match that expectation. The second phrase, I sleep in faith, is your internal agreement. It is the posture of one who no longer chases, no longer begs, no longer wonders. You sleep with the confidence of a legal decree already in process. You do not toss with anxiety. You do not wake up doubting. You sleep as one who has spoken and whose word is now active in the field. And finally, my word does not return void. This is scripture. This is law. This is unshakable metaphysical code. When you say this aloud, your subconscious aligns with the oldest spiritual truth there is, that the word, once spoken with authority, cannot be denied, erased, or delayed. Speak it, and your field will respond, not because of volume, but because of vibration, not because of emotion, but because of spiritual legality. Your word is not poetry, it is architecture. And this final declaration affirms that the return is guaranteed. With these final three declarations, vision, motion, return, you close the cycle. You plant not just seeds, but structure. You do not merely say what you desire, You command what must return. These are not suggestions, they are law. And when spoken rhythmically, every night, 7 nights, with full alignment, they will retrain your subconscious into perfect obedience with divine truth. No more delay, no more scattered energy, no more unconscious programming, only clarity, only rhythm, only law. And as you obey this structure, the field obeys you. You have spoken the words, you have released the declarations, you have sealed your field with spiritual law. But unless the subconscious accepts your word as default command, you will drift back into old patterns. Not because the word was wrong, not because the law failed, but because the programming underneath still holds the echo of fear. The subconscious is not your enemy. It is your servant. It is your echo chamber. It is the most faithful executor in the universe. But it does not obey your desire. It obeys your rhythm. It does not listen to your emotion. It listens to your repetition. And the one who understands this does not worry about how they feel. They concern themselves only with what they say and how consistently they say it. Your subconscious mind has been trained for years, trained by inherited language, fear-based culture, unconscious self-talk, and invisible vows made in moments of weakness. Every time you said, "I never have enough," it recorded it. Every time you whispered, "I'm behind," or "Why hasn't it happened yet?" it did not judge you, it simply installed the instruction. And from that moment on, it began filtering your entire reality through that voice. But now you interrupt that cycle. Now you speak deliberately, not once, but nightly, not emotionally, but rhythmically. You do not wait for results to begin. You program results through law, and law obeys repetition. This is not superstition. This is not psychological motivation. This is metaphysical architecture. What you say every night before sleep, when the gate between conscious and subconscious begins to dissolve, is what your life begins to form without your conscious input. This is why you must not speak casually. This is why silence is not harmless. This is why your declarations must become your spiritual software, repeated, installed, and confirmed until no other instruction remains. Do not ask, "But what if I don't believe it yet?" That question is irrelevant. Law does not scan your belief, it scans your consistency. And the subconscious does not care how sincere you sound. It only listens to what is repeated. Whatever you repeat with authority, it takes as truth. This is not about sincerity. This is about structure. This is not about performance. This is about program. And once the program is installed, your outer life adjusts automatically because your inner pattern has shifted. You must repeat the 9 declarations nightly, not as performance, but as construction. You are not performing faith. You are installing law. You are not hoping they will work. You are programming the only part of you that governs your default reality. Each night, as your conscious mind begins to surrender, the subconscious becomes receptive. It does not resist. It does not argue. It opens its gates, and whatever you speak in that window goes in unfiltered. This is your golden moment. This is not the time to scroll. This is not the time to reflect on the day's fears. This is not the time to replay emotional residue from what didn't happen. This is the moment to command. Because whatever you say last becomes the first law your subconscious obeys all night. So you speak clearly, you speak slowly, you speak with rhythm, you do not beg, you do not overthink, you do not rehearse emotions, you install code. Every time you say, "I am richly supplied," the subconscious rewrites a file. Every time you say, "Divine law is working even as I sleep," the field updates your blueprint. every time you say, "Nothing can be delayed from me," your default programming removes the concept of spiritual lateness, and it becomes automatic. This is the purpose of repetition, not to convince your soul, but to train your software. And once trained, it does not need reminders. It obeys without protest. Just as you once repeated lack until it felt normal, you now repeat truth until it becomes unshakable. This is why your declarations must not be temporary. This is why the 7-night challenge is only the beginning, not the finish line. The goal is not to say them once. The goal is to say them until there is no longer a part of you that doubts. And when that happens, your energy shifts, your posture shifts, your field shifts, and life responds not to effort, not to struggle, not to overthinking, but to the default rhythm of your newly trained subconscious. Let me say this clearly. The one who controls the last 5 minutes before sleep controls their entire life, because the one who speaks in rhythm trains the realm of cause, and the realm of cause governs the realm of form. You ask, but how long will it take? Wrong question. The right question is, how long will I repeat these declarations without contradiction? Because law does not delay. It only responds to clarity. And the moment your inner voice becomes rhythmic, not reactive, faithful, not fearful, certain, not casual, your reality bends fast. The subconscious is not resisting your new command. It is simply echoing the old ones. So drown them out. Replace every line of inner doubt with these declarations of truth. Speak until there is nothing else to speak. Speak until it feels boring, then speak again. Because boredom is not weakness. Boredom means the software is finally absorbing without resistance. That's when reprogramming works. You no longer need to feel it to believe it. You only need to repeat it long enough that your inner being has no room left for opposition. That is faith. That is law. That is transformation. You now know the law. You have heard the structure. You have spoken the decree. But knowing is not sealing. Hearing is not commanding. And feeling is not demonstration. The subconscious does not respond to what you felt once, understood once, or spoke once. It responds to what you repeat with rhythm, with structure, with law. And so I give you the final instruction, the challenge that divides those who speak from those who demonstrate. You are now called into a sacred sequence, a 7-night decree of obedience. Not suggestion, not optional habit, not experimental exercise. This is a spiritual contract, and your subconscious will treat it as such. For 7 nights, you will speak all 9 declarations aloud, not mentally, not softly, not passively. You will speak them with deliberate rhythm, full authority, and unwavering tone. You will not wait for the right emotion to speak. You will not depend on your energy. You will not ask whether you feel worthy. The law does not respond to your worthiness. It responds to your word. Each night before sleep, you will sit or lie down with full attention. No multitasking, no distractions, no side conversations. Your body will still, but your voice will activate. The final moments before sleep are not casual. They are sacred legal ground. The subconscious is unguarded, fully receptive, and entirely obedient in that window. And what you speak into it in that moment becomes spiritual legislation. It becomes command. It becomes blueprint. You will not be casual with that window. You will not speak worry and then declare truth. You will not mix tones. You will speak only what you intend to make real. After speaking the declarations, you will write them down. This writing is not journaling. It is not emotional venting. It is not note-taking. It is the written record of your spiritual instruction. By writing it, You double imprint the command, once through vibration, once through action. Writing locks the decree into your muscle memory. It sends the message that what you just declared is worthy of record, worthy of execution, worthy of manifestation. The subconscious records it all. You will repeat this pattern, a loud speech, written record, nightly discipline, for 7 consecutive nights. Not 5, not 3, not as many as you feel led to. You will complete the full spiritual rhythm. 7 nights without break. You will not skip. You will not pause. You will not delay. The law does not delay. The law does not hesitate. The law fulfills rhythm, and so must you. On the 8th morning, you will not search for a miracle. You will expect evidence. You will not ask the law if it worked. You will declare that it is done. Because when you speak in rhythm, the invisible begins to structure itself in your favor. Not because you are deserving, not because you are lucky, but because you have obeyed the pattern that governs the universe. This is not emotional spirituality. This is lawful spirituality. This is not a test of faith. This is an enforcement of structure. If you break the rhythm, you restart. If you hesitate, you dilute the code. But if you speak nightly, clearly, rhythmically, legally, you activate something that cannot be reversed. You break cycles that were spoken into you decades ago. You rewrite the code that held your supply hostage. You eliminate delay not by force, but by rhythm. The law is not looking for your sincerity. It is waiting for your certainty. And certainty is not a feeling, it is a behavior. Speak these 9 declarations as if they are legal orders, not personal hopes. Speak them not because you feel powerful, but because they are law. Each night, let your speech override the day's emotion. Let your rhythm replace your doubt. Let your tone reprogram what your environment once taught you. You are not speaking to convince the universe. You are instructing it. And the universe will not resist you if your rhythm is clean, your language is lawful, and your tone is fixed. You will not look for signs. Signs will look for you. You will not chase validation. Validation will follow vibration. You will not wake up to check if something happened. You will wake up knowing the field is already obeying your decree. Why? Because you did not speak once and hope. You spoke nightly and you obeyed. The subconscious mind does not respect wishful thinking. It respects repeated command. It does not argue with structure. It follows it. And the law does not listen to your background, your upbringing, or your struggle. It listens to your spoken word, and especially to the rhythm of it. So for 7 nights, speak these declarations in full. No skipping, no breaking them into pieces, no combining them with other affirmations. Speak them as a legal package, a complete code. You are not experimenting with the universe. You are initiating divine compliance. You are not borrowing from spiritual practice. You are writing law into vibration. You are not curious. You are commanding. And on the 8th day, you will not ask if it worked. You will declare, "It is now visible." Write this clearly now and speak it aloud. For 7 nights I command. For 7 nights I obey. For 7 nights I speak what cannot be revoked. My word is law. My rhythm is law. My demonstration is sealed. Let this be your contract with the invisible. Let this be the beginning of evidence that cannot be shaken. And if you forget, remember this. The power was never in your personality. It was in your pattern. The delay was never because you weren't enough. It was because your rhythm was broken. The transformation you seek will not come by emotion. It will come by night decree. Speak, write, rest, receive. 7 nights, 9 declarations, 1 law. Now begin. You have spoken, you have declared, You have obeyed the rhythm. Now you must seal it. A spoken decree without a seal can be reversed by fear. A declaration without anchoring can be overwritten by emotion. The subconscious does not ask if you meant it, it checks if you finalized it. And the way to finalize a spiritual command is not to shout it louder or to feel more emotion. The way to finalize it is to affirm it as law. This final seal is not decorative. It is not optional. It is the cement that locks your new programming into place. If you skip the seal, your subconscious treats the declaration as temporary. But when you seal it through a rhythm of final affirmations, your subconscious rewires. Your inner being accepts, your field realigns, and what you spoke begins to move into physical form. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to believe harder. You only need to repeat the truth long enough for the subconscious to stop arguing. And repetition, spoken in rhythm, affirmed in tone, is the most sacred technology of spiritual law. These final affirmations are not suggestions. They are not self-help. They are not mindset tools. They are law. They are the language of one who no longer negotiates with fear. They are the language of one who instructs, not pleads, of one who commands, not copes. You will speak them aloud each night immediately after your 9 declarations. You will speak them with the voice of one who has already seen results, not because they are visible, but because law already confirmed them. Let the first affirmation become your signature. My word is law. My spoken truth creates visible miracles. You do not wait to see evidence before speaking like this. You speak like this so that evidence becomes required. You are not requesting outcomes, you are authorizing them. The moment you speak these words, you identify as the sovereign of your field, the architect of your experience, the only voice the law responds to. You are no longer echoing past trauma. You are writing present structure. You are no longer reacting to reality. You are reprogramming it. The second affirmation locks your sleep into alignment. I sleep knowing divine law fulfills my every spoken command. Sleep is no longer rest alone. It is the legal phase of manifestation. It is when the conscious guard drops and the instruction goes to work. If you enter sleep without affirmation, your old patterns continue to run the system. But when you sleep after decree, sealed with this affirmation, your subconscious receives only divine material to build from. You are not hoping it works. You are declaring it already in motion. The third affirmation multiplies the return. Every word I speak at night returns multiplied by morning. Multiplication is not a mystery, it is law. The field always multiplies what is repeated, but it does not multiply what is mixed with fear. It multiplies what is sealed in rhythm. When you speak this, you command the law of return to deliver. Not sometime in the future, but beginning now. You expect return. You speak with the authority of one who no longer cancels what they've declared. And that tone tells the universe you are finished wavering. Affirmation 4 resets the foundation of your identity. My subconscious mind accepts only divine truth and perfect alignment. This is not a passive hope. It is a direct command to the gatekeeper of your reality. Your subconscious is not a mystery. It is a mirror. It will reflect whatever tone you've spoken consistently. And if you do not instruct it, it will repeat your old family's vocabulary, your culture's fear, and your trauma's rhythm. But this affirmation ends the confusion. It declares that your subconscious is now a protected vault, sealed to doubt, closed to contradiction, and loyal only to your highest word. Affirmation 5 activates divine supply without effort. I am the open channel of infinite supply. I no longer seek, I effortlessly allow. You are not trying to become worthy of abundance. You are announcing that you already house it. You are not chasing money, health, harmony, or opportunity. You are commanding the field to enter through you. Your only task now is not to strive, but to allow. And allowance is not weakness, it is lawful surrender to divine intelligence. You are not passive, you are precise. You no longer seek because you know. You no longer grasp because you receive. Affirmation 6 commands full order into every detail of your life. Divine timing, spiritual protection, and perfect order are my permanent reality. You do not ask the universe to speed up. You align with its rhythm. You do not beg for protection. You declare it already surrounds you. You do not demand control. You trust the orchestration of spiritual law. This affirmation replaces the chaos that used to operate in your nervous system. It replaces anxiety with legal order. It tells your subconscious to stop panicking and start building. It becomes the new operating system of your mind. Affirmation 7 seals the manifestation process with expectation. I awaken daily to undeniable evidence of my nightly spoken commands. You no longer need to journal about what might happen. You expect results, not because you are optimistic, because you have obeyed the law, and the law must obey you. This affirmation shifts your morning posture from doubt to recognition. You are not starting the day asking what to fix. You are waking to receive what is already forming. This alignment is not imaginary, it is mechanical. It is the consequence of rhythm, repetition, and seal. Affirmation 8 eliminates delay with final clarity. I am no longer available for delay, doubt, or limitation. I command immediate divine alignment. This is not a motivational phrase. This is a legal withdrawal of consent. You no longer permit confusion. You no longer allow contradiction. You have removed your availability from fear. You have closed your spiritual calendar to every form of delay. And when you speak this, your subconscious updates your access level. It no longer lets in what no longer belongs. You command, and your life reforms accordingly. And now, the final affirmation, the irrevocable seal. For 7 nights I speak clearly. Divine law responds immediately. It is already done. You do not speak this hoping it will be true. You speak it because it has become law. This is not the end of the process. It is the final imprint that locks your voice into the structure of your new reality. You are not repeating for comfort. You are repeating for confirmation. You are not spiritualizing wishful thinking. You are institutionalizing divine order. You are no longer a wanderer in the invisible. You are the architect of command. You are no longer guessing whether your words matter. You are watching as they form systems, outcomes, rhythms, and results. These final affirmations are your covenant. They are the seal of your 7-night contract. And if you speak them with rhythm, structure, and clarity, there will be no question about what happens next. You will wake to evidence. You will speak in rhythm. You will receive in law. It is already done. You now stand before the invisible contract. It is not written on paper. It is not confirmed by emotion. It is witnessed only by law. And law does not record what you intended. It records what you did. You have been given the words. You have been instructed in the order. You have been told the structure, the rhythm, the seal, and the promise. And now one question remains. Will you obey? You do not need to understand every detail of how the universe will rearrange itself. You only need to act as one who has already been rearranged. The shift does not begin with a sign. It begins with a sentence. And that sentence must be spoken, not once, but rhythmically, daily, legally, until the unseen becomes visible. This is not about how you feel tonight. It is about whether you will repeat what is lawfully true for 7 consecutive nights, no matter what arises. The field does not respond to sincerity. It responds to structure. Here is the covenant. Speak all 9 declarations aloud, in order. Speak them slowly, deliberately, and with authority. Do not mix them with apology. Do not trail off or whisper. Repeat them as a set. Do not skip. Do not multitask. Do not distract yourself with background noise or last-minute doubt. Sit upright or lie down with full attention. Speak them just before your body surrenders to sleep, when the gate to the subconscious is wide open. This is the sacred window. Use it with reverence. After you speak, write each declaration by hand. Not digitally, not vaguely. You write them because written law anchors spoken law. This is your legal record. This is your signature of authority. Do this for 7 nights without interruption. No breaks, no excuses. If you miss a night, you restart the cycle. Not to be punished, but to preserve spiritual order. Each morning, wake with the posture of completion. Say this aloud upon rising. I receive my evidence now. Not, I hope. Not, I wonder. Not, maybe someday. You speak as one who knows that demonstration is the only possible outcome when law is obeyed in rhythm. And do not ask, is it working? That question is the voice of disorder. You do not need to monitor the seed. You need to water it. You do not need to feel inspired every night. You need to repeat the command. You do not need to predict the timeline. You need to maintain the contract. This 7-day cycle is not a manifestation gimmick. It is a metaphysical agreement with divine structure. You are not playing with possibility. You are invoking inevitability. Let this be your covenant. Let this be your decision point. Let this be the night you stop dabbling in spiritual power and start demonstrating it. If you speak only once, fear will erase it. If you speak inconsistently, doubt will distort it. But if you speak faithfully, rhythmically, and lawfully for 7 consecutive nights, your subconscious will have no choice but to comply. Because the law does not obey hope, it obeys rhythm. Do not look for signs. Signs will look for you. Do not chase evidence. Evidence will chase the one who repeats with clarity. And if you find yourself tempted to hesitate, return to this truth. You do not lack power. You lack repetition. The law has not forgotten you. It is waiting for a command it can build from, one that is not contradicted by your fear, your passivity, or your inconsistency. You are not powerless. You are undertrained. So speak, so repeat, so command. And when your field begins to shift, do not act surprised. You are not witnessing a miracle. You are witnessing obedience. You are not being rewarded. You are being reflected. This is not magic. It is jurisdiction. You spoke and the law responded, because that is all it has ever done. Now it is time to mark your commitment. Speak aloud. For the next 7 nights, I obey this rhythm. I speak in truth. I expect return. I seal my contract. Let the universe hear the one voice that never wavers. Let the field feel the rhythm it can multiply. Let your subconscious receive the blueprint it can finally trust. If this contract is clear in your spirit, if this discipline resonates in your bones, write it down. Do not think it. Write it. Declare it. Return to it nightly. Let no exception interrupt it. Let no emotion override it. Let no delay convince you to withdraw. This is not a test. It is a demonstration. The results are not delayed. They are triggered. 7 nights, 9 declarations, 1 covenant. Your word is law. And now that you have spoken it, all that remains is obedience. It is already done.